black and white. If only we could see it's our eyes.
What is going on, you guys? It's me, Kaldan, back with another YouTube video, and this is episode 1 of NHL As It Stands. I have the 16 best teams currently in the NHL, the best 8 teams from each conference. As you can see, we have Vegas, Anaheim, Nashville, Dallas, Winnipeg, Los Angeles, Minnesota, and San Jose on the Western Conference side. This is a standing of Wednesday, February, hold up, let me look at the calendar, February 28th, so the last day of March. So now we go on to the Eastern side. We have Tampa Bay, Columbus, Toronto, New Jersey, Washington, Boston, Pittsburgh, and Philly. I don't know if this is exactly how the rosters would look. It's kind of weird setting them up in NHL 18. So I have all the teams here. I have them set up in a bracket semi-close to how they would fall based on seeding. You can see you have the first playing the last on both sides, so on and so forth, Pittsburgh and Philly. So pretty much what I want to do with this series is do a rundown and see who can win the Stanley Cup as it stands, hence the name. We can go ahead and simulate up to what? Oh, we don't want to do this. Finish game. And it looks like VGK will take that 1-0. That was a close game. Okay. Not how I planned on doing it. I wish there was a way you could simulate by a round. I don't want to play the game. Go ahead, and I guess we'll simulate the entire round by hand. I didn't think this through a little bit. I thought you could simulate each round to make it go quicker, but I guess it just fills out time. And then we'll just look at the stats at the end of each round. It looks like Winnipeg's about to sweep. Or, well, I should say they're about to sweep. They're taking the lead in the series, 2-0. A lot of these teams are. We go Minnesota. There's another one. Toronto taking a 1-1. Pitt tying it up 1-1. VGK is up at 1-1. Anaheim takes the lead. Columbus finally breaks, or LA breaks that. Tampa Bay takes another win right there. Washington loses to Boston. Okay, Nashville takes a 3-0 lead. Minnesota, Toronto, and Pittsburgh all taking leads in their series. Tampa Bay is still up for a sweep. Anaheim takes a 3-1 lead. Winnipeg ties it up. And it looks like, wow, the Tampa Bay Lightning will sweep the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. Go ahead and continue in on here. Minnesota taking a 3, Toronto taking 3, Pittsburgh taking a 3. The Anaheim go ahead and knock out the number 1 seed, or was number 1 seed, I should say, in the Western. Nashville goes ahead and wins. I just clicked the wrong button, not what I wanted to do. I will say, later on in the videos, as we get closer and closer to the end and we get to the actual playoffs, I think this will be more refined. And it looked like who just won? Toronto just won their game. And Pittsburgh takes it to a game 6. Who just won that game? LA, I think, just won. Minnesota just won. Pittsburgh just won. Washington in game 7. And Washington moves on to play their Kryptonite and the Pittsburgh Penguins in the second round. Go ahead, simulating all the... Not what I wanted. Definitely not what I wanted. Like I said, guys, it'll be more refined, and this is you kind of get an idea of the series and what I wanted to do. See who guys takes the lead. Washington will take the lead. Nashville tying up their series. Minnesota taking the lead. Or Tampa Bay taking up a lead. And Pittsburgh tie it. Pittsburgh does tie it. Nashville 2-1. Minnesota 3-0. Tampa Bay 3-0. Takes the lead here. Pittsburgh takes the lead. 3-1 Nashville. A sweep from Minnesota. A sweep from Tampa Bay. That's 2 sweeps. Pittsburgh, can they take a lead? They tie it up. Washington ties it 2-2. Nashville moves on 4-1. Now it looks like it's just down here. The game 6 in Pittsburgh. Game 7. Can they finally beat the Kryptonite? And they don't. They lose once again in the game 7. Wow, we're on to the Eastern and Western final. It's Tampa Bay versus Pittsburgh. And the Minnesota Wild versus the Nashville Predators. Tampa Bay takes a 2-0 lead. I think they might sweep their way all the way to the Cup. I think I might have just jinxed it, and I did. Minnesota ties it up 2-2. Pittsburgh ties it up 2-2. Minnesota takes the lead. Pittsburgh takes the lead. Minnesota goes to game 7. Do we have a winner? Oh, both game 7s in the conference final. Nashville will win. Who wins? We have a repeat of the 2017 Stanley Cup final, the Nashville Predators versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. I want to go ahead do a quick rundown of the stats up to now. Ooh, wow. 20 points right there from Praise from the Minnesota Wild. Wow, 13 goals, 7 assists with a 6 plus minus, 2 penalty minutes. Wow. This is not too bad of stats. Minnesota definitely blew up. Evgeny Malkin right there, 17 points, 9 goals, 8 assists. Forsberg, 17. Sidney, Hornquist. So yeah, wow, that looks like an entire the entire first line there for Minnesota, because they definitely blew up. That would make some sense here for the assists. Wow, that was okay. Gensel up there, 13 points. Bonino about to play his team once again in the Stanley Cup final on the other team. Ex-Pittsburgh Penguin left during free agency. Van Dreamsdyke up there with 12 points. Cooch, 12 points. Wow. So far, it has been a very exciting series. Let's look at the playoff tree. Do a quick rundown. So Anaheim beats out the Vegas Golden Knights 4-1. The Nashville Predators go ahead 4-1 right there against the Dallas Stars. LA takes it 4-2 against the Winnipeg Jets. And Minnesota takes it 4-2 against the Sharks. Go ahead and look at the Eastern Conference. 4-0 Tampa Bay sweeps it. I think they're the only team that had a sweep so far, except for Minnesota in the second round, but we'll get to that. Toronto wins their series against the New Jersey Devils 4-1. And Capitals go into a Game 7 versus the Boston Bruins 4-3. Pittsburgh beats out Philadelphia in a Game 6. And we move on to the second round, which is Tampa Bay here for the Eastern side. Tampa Bay versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, going ahead and sweeping for a second time this playoffs. And we look at the other side, Game 7, once again, Pittsburgh versus the Washington Capitals. Pittsburgh, as always, comes out victorious. The Kryptonite's still there for Washington against Pittsburgh. We go ahead and we're going to look at the other side. There was actually 2 sweeps in the second round. We have the Minnesota Wild winning 4-0 against the LA Kings. Nashville winning 4-1 against the Anaheim Ducks. As I remember, that was the same as it was before, if I remember correctly. It might have been the conference final. I don't remember. I remember they played Anaheim, and I think they won 4-1 in that series. If not, it was 4-2. Go ahead to the conference finals for both sides. We have the Minnesota Wild and the Nashville Predators. Nashville ultimately winning it in Game 7, and then Pittsburgh winning it in Game 7 against Tampa Bay Lightning. Coming down to the Stanley Cup final, as I guess we can go ahead, sim through, and we'll see what happens. Pittsburgh takes 1-1 or 1-0, 2-0, and can Nashville answer it back? And they do. Ooh, we come down to what could be the last game. We'll go ahead and simulate it on a goal-by-goal basis. Go ahead and looking at the entire first period. And wow, this is kind of exciting to see, because after the game that happened on Thursday, I kind of underestimated Pittsburgh's power. I guess it kind of makes sense in standings-wise on why Pittsburgh's still here. As we have Hagelin go ahead getting a goal there for Pittsburgh on Pekka Rinne. And we raised the question once again that an all great tree that urinates says, is Pekka Rinne too good right now? I guess we'll find out right here in the simulation. As we continue on, let's see. Almost halfway through second half, halfway through the game. Power play there for Pittsburgh, and they're not productive at all. And wow, 2-0 lead right there for Pittsburgh. Carl Hagelin on Pekka Rinne. And again, is he too good right now? And that's all it for the second period. As we go on into the third, final period, I'll go ahead and slow it down. After rate, I guess it doesn't really make sense. We get a 5-on-4 power play there from Pittsburgh, up 2-0, with 14 minutes left or so in the third period. Maybe Nashville can tie it up. 22 shots for Pittsburgh while they're on the power play, going up to 24 here. 25, 26. They're tied up all across the board for shots. Nashville had a little power play there. Looks like it got killed off. Pittsburgh's back on the power play. And it's still tied up with 26 shots across the board. 27, 2-0 Pittsburgh, 4 minutes. Going down, Phil Kessel, most likely ultimately locking up the game. There's another one from Rust on Pekka Rinne. And finally, Smith gets a shot on Murray. I think, wow. Simeon is complete. The Pittsburgh Penguins have completed the cup trick. The Pittsburgh Penguins are your Stanley Cup champions. Let's go ahead and we're going to look at the stats. Sidney Crosby finishing with 22 points. Guess we'll look at the stats for each team. Starting here with Pittsburgh. Played 25 games. That is the most games than any team on this list. Second place, of course, coming to Nashville. I guess it'd be easier if we can just go ahead and sort. Next game would be, yeah, wow. They have played most games, which makes sense because they made it to the final. But Pittsburgh did have, I think, one game seven, probably two game sevens. I don't remember. Oh, it was two game sevens. Yeah, we had the final and things like that. Not too bad. They have 55 goals against in the playoffs. That is, of course, the most across the board. But who had the highest goals per game? That was New Jersey with 3. Columbus coming in second with Philly in third with goals against. Wow. What? Wow. Who's producing the most? I think I saw 8-3 for Nashville, 7-5 in Pittsburgh. So where did they win the final game at? Sidney Crosby looking beautiful right there, and it looks like Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby will take the lead after the Stanley Cup. Phil Kessel getting up there with 19 points, and I guess Phil Kessel is once again a Stanley Cup champion. Wow, this was interesting to see. I guess we'll see what it's like next week. We'll have different teams in there, hopefully, unless these teams can prove that they're powerhouses and can make the playoffs. I see if when Matt Murray gets it back, I can see the Pittsburgh Penguins starting to change a little bit. I don't think they'll make it in anything higher than a wild card. This is coming from a Pittsburgh fan. But guys, if you like this series, you see something you want to see me improve on, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know how you like this series and what you think this year's Stanley Cup will run out to based on the standings that you see pulled from Wednesday each week. Guys, love you oh so very much. Click that subscribe button down below. And yeah, make sure you turn on that notification bell as well because you got to subscribe 2 times here on this platform. So, guys, I love you, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.